We are live. Hey guys, I'm Wolfie, and today we are gonna talk some 49ers news. Jake Moody, Kyle Hughes check, salary cap, which is not really 49ers news, but you get what I'm saying. You get what I'm saying here. Brock Purdy and what John Lynch had to say about the no guarantee it will happen that they signed Brock Purdy, whatever comment that he made. Well, I'll address that as well. Then we'll get into the players the 49ers have interviewed as well, and then jump into the combine and look at all the players and kind of go through, like, we've got the Fast 40, Shuttle, etc., and just kind of go through all of them and try to see what's going on there. And yeah, so we got a few articles to get through. Okay, we got a loaded show, as people would say. But I do not have water with me today. I needed coffee to keep my ass awake. I am exhausted, but I'm bringing the energy, man. I'm bringing the energy, man. So just give me 1 second. Let me drink my coffee, and we'll jump right into it. Val has liked this live. I appreciate it. Appreciate you for being here. WW, as always, OG. Always good to see you. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into the first thing, which is salary cap. It has gone up from 255.4 all the way up to 279.2. Okay, that is massive. That is $23.8 million cap raise. Now, $23.8 million is pretty much a whole player, okay? A really good quality starter for this football team, okay? Someone we can re-sign, some money that can be handled towards Brock Purdy situation. Maybe we can now sign Dre Greenlaw with that kind of increase, because we already had like $50 million to work with. So, I mean, there's still something to like about that. And just so you know, that's a 9.14% cap increase, just in case if you're wondering about the numbers there. But yeah, $23.8 million in cap space has been raised. They projected 277, and they've already they've already put that into like over the cap and stuff, so they already kind of had that figured out. But that's like an extra $2 million more than we thought we were going to get in the first place. So hey, that's a couple veteran minimum players right there. It's not bad. It's not bad at all. But yeah, so $23.8 million cap space. I mean, that's just phenomenal, dude. So it's so good that we have that, especially considering how much they're trying to figure out to, you know, like, okay, we got to keep this player for this long. We got to backtrack this guy's contract. We got to sign a player here in free agency. This is a very big deal. This is a very big deal for the 49ers. But yeah, so let's go ahead and jump into the next thing. That is the salary cap thing. The salary cap has been raised. So yay, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. Next, we'll jump into Jake Moody and his situation. That's not good news. Okay, some people don't like Jake Moody. Not the greatest news in the world. Val with the hand wave. I appreciate you, OG, as always. As always. Let's go ahead and let's see if I can find the Jake Moody article that I had. Let's run it. There it is. Okay. It's Pro Football Talk. It's an article from them, and I'll go ahead and share that screen if I can find it. Kyle Hughes check. No, there it is. Okay. All right. And boop. And boop. Okay. So 49ers still have a lot of belief in Jake Moody. I didn't see this at the combine where John Lynch did the interview, whatever. I did not see that part. However, I think this was just from an interview that John Lynch took from someone else. I think Jennifer Lee Chan from NBC Sports got this from him. So let's go ahead and jump right into what he had to say about Jake Moody, and then I'll give you my opinion on what he said here. We've had really honest. Why is this hard to talk right now? We've had really honest. That's okay. So it's not me. This is just poor writing here. We had really honest discussions with Jake, and I know that's a hot button, whatever that means. We still have a lot of belief in him. We believe that the injury had a lot to do with all that. So they believe, obviously, that the injury was the reason why his play got down a little bit, because it was really bad after his injury. But I mean, if your guy was not 100%, do not put your guy out there. Like, especially as a kicker who needs to make game-winning kicks. If if you're not 100%, then you should have just kept the other kicker. I mean, force the issue sounds ridiculous here. The belief doesn't mean the team won't consider adding a kicker. Lynch said that may be a route we go, which is obviously adding a kicker. Someone else to insulate us, John Lynch said. But like I said, we have belief that we will rise to the top. So that's something to keep tabs on if we do decide to bring someone in. We're very hopeful in Jake. What we had envisioned for him, it's still very possible. Now, this doesn't sound like to me that they're saying for sure that he's going to come back. It just sounds like to me that they're giving him a shot to redeem himself. They're giving him a shot to probably come in and maybe show that he still got it. He still has the confidence. This doesn't scream to me that they're sticking with John Lynch no matter what, right? That's not what this screams to me. This screams to me that they're just rolling with it. They're keeping him around while they are going to look for kickers, because we do know they have been looking at other kickers, right? They've worked out the Miami kicker already. I'm sure they're going to look for kickers in free agency as well. And pretty much in these comments, like they says, like that doesn't believe that the team won't consider adding a kicker. John Lynch says may be a route go, saying there's a possibility they're also going to add a kicker. They're just kind of just throwing things into the air, pretty much just saying, hey, guess what? We may add a kicker. We're going to keep Moody for now until we look and find another kicker who is better than him. That's the vibe that I got from this. And I know there's a lot of 49ers fans that are freaking out, like saying, oh, my God, Jake Moody is going to be on this roster. Oh, my God. And it's just like, calm down. Calm down. Something I've predicted. Hopefully you guys can predict too, and you guys saw it coming too as well. He was going to be on this roster, right? Doesn't mean he's going to be on this roster in preseason or at cut time. I figured he was going to be part of this 90-man roster until we find an actual real kicker, because you can't just get rid of Jake Moody and then just hope that you find a better kicker somewhere else, because he could in the end be your best option, right? Because you don't know, there's no guarantee that you're going to get a kicker in free agency. There's no guarantee you're going to get a kicker in the draft that's end up even being better than Jake Moody. I don't want Jake Moody on this roster, right? I want a better kicker. I 110% do, right? But if there's nothing better and you don't do your due diligence first and you just cut him outright, it can get a lot worse. It can get significantly worse. So Jake Moody is going to be on this roster. I understand why he's going to be on this roster, but as long as the 49ers do their due diligence, go out, try to find a kicker to replace him, and then him end up being cut at cut time, he's going to be on this 90-man roster. So prepare for that. Just don't freak out that he's still on this roster when the new season starts. It's going to be okay. I promise. I absolutely promise. So one in the house, says Val as well, showing some love. That's why I like to see. I hope we don't draft Loveland tight end. It's not a need at all. We could draft a future Kittle replacement later. I agree. I don't think Loveland's 11th round pick kind of type guy. I don't think that they were looking at Loveland as a first round pick. When I did the video, I was figuring that they would do they would probably look at him as a second round pick, which I'm fine with because he's a second round pick kind of type talent. I'm fine with that. But yes, I agree. If they drafted a tight end with the 11th pick, I would be really not happy. I would be very unsatisfied. I'd be very dissatisfied. So I do agree with that. Next up, we got Kyle Juszczyk. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the Kyle Juszczyk news and what John Lynch had to say about that. Kyle Juszczyk is a salary cap cut candidate for the 49ers. I cannot talk today, guys. I just can't do it. All right. One player that's a cut candidate of the 49ers is beloved fullback Kyle Juszczyk. He is beloved. The 49ers set that scenario in motion last year when they had Juszczyk take a pay cut. It was a transaction that emotionally cut Juszczyk deep, and he's not naive. He knows what his current situation is. I agree. I think you need it. Before we get into the article, we'll see what he has to say. I agree. I think that Juszczyk is someone that we need to cut and move on from. We don't use him that much anymore. If you want to get a blocking running back who's really good at pass protection instead at this point, someone you could use, I don't mind that. If we do that instead, it's time to let go Juszczyk and save ourselves $4 million to $5 million because we can get a valuable depth piece with that kind of cash. I like Juszczyk. I really do. and he does have great history with us. He is beloved. I would give him that. Like, he's given us great memories. He's done some good things. He's a great locker room guy, but I agree. It's time to move on. Juice is a great player and has been really valuable to us, so he's part of us, Lynch said. We'll see. We're thinking of a lot of things right now. We're trying to make everything work and some tighter constraints than we've had in the past. So he's definitely opening up the window and the door to let everyone know, hey, guess what? Guess what? Guess what? Juszczyk's probably going to get cut, because he does say it seems like that. We're working out a lot of things right now. We're trying to make everything work, and I don't think they're going to force the issue with Kyle Juszczyk, especially at his age. It's time to move on, And that's like $4 or $5 million that you could use from that cut, that you could use from that and add it to a lot better position, such as O-line would be better. Hey, a backup tight end and free agency would be better. It's just Kyle Juszczyk just isn't used enough, right? And he does block, like he's using the run game and stuff like that too. But at $4 or $5 million, it's time to move on. Okay, it's time. If he wants to take the vet minimum, like if he ends up being like, okay, I'll take a vet minimum at this point, age 35, I'd keep him around. But I don't want to keep him at that price tag of $4.5 to $5 million. I just think it's absolutely ridiculous. So I do hope they cut him, but I also do hope that he reads the writing on the wall. Older guy, time to take a pay cut. So, but shout out to Juice, man. All love and respect, but it's just time. It's just time. Salvador in the house. Bang bang, not a gang, baby. Good to see you. Good to see you, man. Hope you're good. Also, Pierce doing around 4.47, just saying you could use the speed to beat O linemen. It's just that doesn't mean anything to me. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna sound blunt here, but 4.47, I don't care. He's a lineman. He's a D lineman. Linebacker, sure, I would like that. That would be pretty good. Wide receiver, even that's okay. It's decent, but he's a pass rusher. And I already know that he can go. That's kind of the thing where I was expressing that in the last video, and I tried, and I think I expressed to you too. One is that I already know he has that burst. I know he has that speed. I know he has that ability to get around linemen. But in the NFL, that's not going to do it, right? I already knew his ceiling, but you're going to need to do a lot more than just having to get around linemen fast. You need to do more than that. So I already knew he was going to run fast. I already had a feeling he was going to run fast. But as a pass rusher, as someone the D-line that's facing actual offensive linemen in the NFL that are professionals, just doing that one move of getting around linemen isn't going to cut it, right? So I'm happy they ran 4.47. Great for him. He's going to move up draft boards. Good for him. But my concerns still stand where he needs to develop other things. He needs to develop a bag, which he doesn't have, right? I already knew that he was going to run fast. I already knew he was explosive. It's just he's a D lineman. I don't really care. And we're showing some love. That's what I like to see. I like Juice. I just don't like that him being on the field usually means one isn't on the field. I don't know about that, but if that's the case, then definitely gotta keep Juan on the field too, because he's actually a good blocker as well. Juan is. So it's always good to have someone like that on the field. I'm not against that. Is anybody watching the NFL scouting combine? I just wait for the results to come out, which is something we'll look at actually at the end of this show. When I get through all the news, we will look at all the scouting combine 40, because I know a lot of people like 40s, even though I don't take 40s very personal when it comes to D linemen and offensive linemen, because I've seen super fast D linemen not be very good. Seen some pass rushers be fast, not very good. It doesn't really translate to me very well and mean a lot. So, but we'll jump into the NFL scouting combine and look at some stats and stuff. So, all right, we just talked about the salary cap increase. We just talked about Jake Moody and his situation. Then we just talked about Kyle Juszczyk. We go ahead and cut that off. Cut that out. 49ers emerging as popular potential destination for top D linemen. Says 49erswebzone.com, baby. Let's go ahead and bring this article so you guys can see it. Juan says, also Abdul Carter's injury, he could drop hopefully. Fingers crossed, man. I heard about that. Fingers crossed, buddy. Fingers crossed, man. I so hope that people just take that so personal, because apparently, just real quick before I jump into that, because apparently his injury would just require an 8-week. If he had surgery, it would just take 8 weeks for recovery, and he'd be fine, right? It's not like this injury that he has to his foot. I think it's just a stretch, like a stress something. I think a stress reaction or something like that to his foot. It's not going to affect him. It's an 8-week surgery if he decides to get it. He has plenty of time before training camp to really kind of use him. I hope to God that he falls because of that injury. That would be amazing, because he would still be ready for week 1, still be ready for training camp, for preseason. So I'd be fine with it. I mean, I really, truly do hope that he falls. That would make me so freaking happy. Dude. Oh my God. And if the 49ers passed on him, I would lose my mind, because he's the best player in this draft. So Alex Terrell injury prone, teams should definitely not draft him. I like your thinking, Juan. Put it out in the universe. Put that in the universe for sure. For sure. I like that vibe. All right, so let's go ahead and look at what Tim Kawakami had to say about teams. Apparently, 49ers are looking for potential D linemen. What did it say up here? As popular as potential destination for top D linemen. And here's the quote from Kawakami, who is a 49ers insider who works for San Francisco Standard. It is the same article that David Lombardi works for. So there's that. Anyway, this is what he had to say. I've heard from a few NFL scouts that the 49ers have been mentioned as popular potential destinations for at least a few top defensive linemen who have quietly started looking around. Should they get waived for salary cap savings or hit the trade market? So what do we have out there that's supposed to be D lineman and top D lineman? Trey Hendrickson is one of them. Harold Landry is one of them right now. Who else? Max Crosby, but I don't think that's going to happen. It kind of seems like there's a change of heart going there, and the vibes are kind of seem like he's staying. And then the cut, as for the waive for salary cap savings, the only one that I can think of is Joey Bosa. That's the only one I can think of that he could be implying here, and I think that's the case. I think that if Joey Bosa became a free agent once they release him, I could see the 49ers saying, "Hey, we'll sign you to a cheaper contract, get you on the squad, and try to get him on the team." I got a feeling that the 49ers are going to go after Joey Bosa first thing. I just have this feeling inside me, even though I'd much rather have them go after Trey Hendrickson or Harold Landry, even I think would be a better option than that. But I mean, don't be surprised. And I know that the only real connection of that is, we got Nick Bosa, so he wants to play with his brother. But also the 49ers like Joey Bosa. They always seem that way. Joey Bosa has repped the 49ers before, wearing a jacket to represent his brother, so he's already fitted himself into it. It just kind of seems like a 49ers thing to do, to be like, hey, let's sign Joey Bosa. I don't know why. It just kind of got that vibe, you know? Anyway, coming back up to the next quote. It is easy to imagine him lining up opposite to his brother, Nick, talking about Joey Bosa. Solid future. The 49ers might be able to land him without adding much of a bidding war, given Joey's injury issues the past few years. I agree. That's kind of another thing with Joey Bosa. I like Joey Bosa, potential-wise, but that injury situation, you cannot rely on that. If you get Joey Bosa, you got to act like you didn't sign a D end. And I know that's stupid, but he's so injury-prone that availability is the best ability. And if you're not available, you're not there, right? So you need to go into it with okay, we got Joey Bosa, but we really didn't get a D end. we didn't address that need. It's kind of how you have to approach it, just because that injury issue is such a problem, because availability is the best ability. Next up, he talks about Max Crosby. Crosby at 27, that's pretty good years, is 7 years younger than every other name mentioned here and is under contract for this year and next. Though, as with big name trades, he'd likely expect extension and raise when and if he lands with a new team, and he deserves it. Yes, he does. I agree. Can we afford it, though? That's the problem. If he wants a new contract, even with the salary cap raise, you got Brock Purdy coming up. You still need to figure out holes depth-wise with D tackle, guard and center, et cetera, things like that, that you need to address. A third corner would be nice. I think that you still need to go out and look for a third corner. Even if you draft one, there's still things they have to pay for and get. So like Crosby would take up a lot of money, would take up a lot of the cap. If we can make it happen and we trade for him, we've already sunk our teeth into it. It's too late. I'm all for it. But as a GM, with my GM thoughts, my GM eyes, I just feel like it would just having to pay him that kind of money would kind of scare me. It's kind of the same thing with like Myles Garrett, right? It's kind of the same thing that's kind of like worries me. But if we ended up trading for him, obviously the 49ers have worked out a way to extend him and keep him around for a while. Same thing with Max Crosby. I feel like the easiest route here to me when it comes to one of these D linemen that the 49ers apparently are looking for, top defensive linemen, I think the most likely one is going to be Joey Bosa. And I like what was mentioned here. Khalil Mack is not a bad one either. I think Khalil Mack would be a good option as well. I like Khalil Mack. I think I'd rather have Khalil Mack than Joey Bosa at this point. Mack has been a lot more reliable. But, yeah, I do think Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack are probably the most likely scenarios compared to the 49ers trading for Trey Hendrickson, Max Crosby, or Myles Garrett. But if we trade for either one of those three, I would be elated. I would be super excited. I'd embrace it. I'd be like, fuck the cap. Who cares about the cap, man? We got Max Crosby or Myles Garrett or Trey Hendrickson. So I'm glad that they are approaching the 49ers. I'm glad that they are approaching the D lineman situation seriously, it seems. Like, especially according to this rumor and according to what they're doing in the draft, they're looking at a lot of D tackles. They're looking at a lot of D linemen, D ends. So they're doing their due diligence when it comes to the trenches of the D-line side, even though I haven't heard a lot about the offensive side of the ball. That kind of worries me a little bit. I haven't heard enough conversation about them addressing the offensive line. So I'm a wee bit worried about that. A wee bit worried about the offensive line. There hasn't been enough talk about it around the league, around the 49ers right now. There's just been nothing but talk about D tackle and D ends, which I'm fine with. But I need to start hearing things about guard and center, maybe even tackle. I need to start seeing something like that. I need it. So, look at some comments here. Trey Hendrickson would be lit. But I don't really want to trade for any free agent D lineman. It hasn't worked for the Niners at all in recent years. I'm trying to think. Is that correct? Chase Young didn't work out. Menahu was a free agent. I want to say there was one player we traded for that was good. There was one player I think we traded for that worked out. But I think for the most part, you're right. I think us trading for D lineman has not been worked out for us very much. I think you're right there. I think you're right there. Hargrave, Young, Floyd, Gross-Matos, Collins are all okay, but not great or elite. I'd rather draft a guy and develop him. I agree. I was very disappointed in Gross-Matos. Collins, I do like the potential there. I like Gross-Matos' potential there as well. Like, I feel like he still needs to get implemented a little bit more. Floyd, I'm not the biggest Floyd guy either. Hargrave, I agree. That's a lot of disappointing names there, man. That's a lot of disappointing names. But however, maybe Robert Saleh can get the most out of them, and they can actually end up being better in the end. But you cannot hang your hat on that and hope for the best, because it could have been the scheme that held them back, to be honest with you. It could have been the scheme. But Robert Saleh would know how to use these players the most. So maybe we'll see a bit of an uptick with these depth pieces. But I do agree that we need more of a guy we can rely on in the future compared to these guys who are just going to be, 1 or 2 years kind of type players. We need some more continuity in the D end and D tackle position. Niners for life in the house. Good to see you. Good to see you. Been a while since I've been in these streams. Welcome back. Back again. What are you talking about, Wolfie? The Niners already addressed O-line. They resigned Ben Bartch. Hey, man, he has a high PFF grade in that one game, only 65 snaps, okay? If he times that by 17, pretty good. Pretty good. Pretty good. What are you talking about, Juan? Chris Forrester says he's an amazing center. Yeah, I agree, man. If we cannot go forward with Brendel at center, that is a terrible option. Yeah, I just seriously, I have not heard enough conversation about the offensive line. Yeah, we addressed Ben Barch. He might be a good depth piece, but he's kind of injury prone because not only was he injured with us, he was also injured in Jacksonville as well. So he could be injury prone as a guard. I like that. Burford as depth piece, don't mind it. But none of these guys are for sure guards. None of these guys that we have on our team are for sure centers either. Drake Nugent is still a project. We don't know what we're getting from him. There's too many question marks with these guards and centers. I understand that there's technically kind of a question mark at right tackle, but McKivitz has been relatively good with Pooney, and it could be because Pooney's making him better. But regardless, he has been playing better no matter how you put it. So if we need more certainty at the guard and center position, and I haven't heard or seen enough conversation talking about that when it comes to the 49ers. It's just been D tackle and DN, D tackle DN, D tackle DN, D tackle DN. It's all it's been about. I'm happy for that. It is a need, but it seems to me that they're slacking at O-line. Like there's not enough conversation happening there. So hopefully down the line, especially during the combine, we hear a lot more when the O-linemen get in there. I think they're in there tomorrow. I think the O-linemen come in tomorrow or sometime this week. I know that, obviously, at the combine. But hopefully when they come in, there's some conversations, like, hey, the 49ers have checked this lineman out, check this lineman out, check this offensive lineman out. Hopefully conversations like that will start to come out. But as of right now, it's been nothing but D tackles and DNs. So my grandma could block better than him. Got the rocker. I'm going to stop you. Chris Jones, you're going to be no problem. Oh! I can see that. All right. Let's move on to the next one, which there's a lot of news, guys. There is a lot of news. So let's jump into the next one. John Lynch talks about Javon Hargrave ahead of free agency. Let's see what he had to say. The quote. This is technically, a lot of this news is just technically from the NFL Combine press conference he's did, but it's more like breakdown. You actually see the quote, and we can actually break it down when we look at it. So let's look at that. All right. John Lynch. Oh, I didn't bring it up. I gotta stop saying John Lynch. John Lynch says the 49ers have had good discussions with Javon Hargrave ahead of free agency. All right. So this is what, speaking of the Combine, Lynch addressed the topic, acknowledged that the team has had talks with the defensive tackle ahead of free agency. Crazy bust. I'm not going to lie. Bringing back Javon Hargrave is still a possibility, but I would tell you, I think that the D tackle market is going to be robust. So that means there's going to be a lot of D tackles out there. He's pretty much hinting out there's probably going to be a lot better options for D tackles, a lot better upgrades out there, cheaper upgrades than Javon Hargrave. He kind of just hinted that, like, hey, there's a possibility we get him, but have you seen those D tackles in free agency? Do you see those D tackles in the draft? That's pretty much what he's saying there. I mean, those guys, it's a premium position, and they typically do well. And even Javon, who's coming off the tricep, I think he's well on his way to being healthy. And I think it'd be a robust market, but we'll see. Again, just hinting that this market is going to be crazy. So this market, like, there's going to be a lot of free agents, a few free agent D tackles. That'll be upgrades. And there's going to be a few D tackles in the draft we can get as well. I think there's like 41 D tackles in this draft. I think there's like 41. I could be wrong, but I think there's a lot. We've had good instruction with Javon. When we kind of talked about the transaction, we were going to make that. Yeah, we'd be interested in a scenario where he comes back, and hopefully we can be involved in that. So this guy's gone, guys. The vibe is just like, hey, if nobody wants you, we'll bring you back on a cheaper deal. That's pretty much what he's saying here. Simple as that. Let's get James Daniels slightly above average in pass blocking, but amazing as a run blocker. That's perfect. That's a good. I would take it, man. It would be an upgrade. It would be an upgrade. I would not be against James Daniels from the Pittsburgh Steelers. I believe that's where he's from. All right. Next up, we got this other news here. If I can share it. Boom, boom, and be sure to like the live, guys. Also, if you haven't liked the live already, I really would appreciate that. Helps me out a lot. All right. So, Robert Saleh, 49ers return hyped by GM after Jets firing. Think he's even better now. He's evolved. He understands it now. All right. The 49ers believe they struck gold for the second time with the return of defensive coordinator Robert Saleh. General Manager John Lynch lauded the ex-Jets coach on Wednesday during the NFL Scouting Combine in Indianapolis, noting the experience he's had makes for an even stronger reunion with the San Francisco 49ers, looking to turn the page on the lost 6-11 season. Oh, my God, dude. I totally agree with that aspect. Like, he understands exactly what Kyle goes through. He understands the in and outs of everything, the nuances now more so. I do agree that experience is invaluable, no doubt. It's awesome to have Saleh back. It felt like he never left, to be honest. It never felt like he left. I'm sorry, man. It's been feeling like he's left for the past 2 years now. Totally disagree with that, man. I understand. I feel like I understand what he's saying. Like, it's like he's never left, man. We still have that good vibe. We're still like, yeah, buddy, woo, stuff like that. But to say that, it's kind of like, no, dude, don't say that shit, because it's felt like 6 feet fall here. Okay, it's not that. Yeah. Anyway, you get very close with folks when you work with them as much as we do. Saleh brought a great deal when he was here last. I think he's even better now with the experience he's had, and it's welcome sight to have him back. The energy that he brings, the expertise that he brings, the leadership that he brings. I agree. I totally agree. I think that that experience is invaluable. I do agree that what Saleh has to, what Saleh brings with that experience, I think it is great, especially considering the fact that Robert Saleh, what he did with the Jets, he was able to evolve with the new offenses, because it was first Kyle Shanahan's offense, and then he evolved with Ben Johnson's offense, and he was still able to keep up with that. He was still able to keep up with a new kind of offense. He's able to evolve. Robert Saleh can evolve. He doesn't stick. Robert Saleh is not a one-trick pony. So I trust Robert Saleh. He's gotten better because of the head coaching situation. I do agree. And I feel like he's also got a newfound respect for what Kyle does and for what his job is and stuff like that. This is I do agree. I think John Lynch makes a very good point. That experience that he had being a head coach is invaluable. Not to mention, he also knows probably what Kyle wants in his defensive coordinators and what it takes to be as a head coach, to like how to direct people and, be a lot more understandable, etc. I feel like that kind of experience would help people get closer to each other. And because there's nothing better than relation. If you can relate to somebody and you can get on their level at some point, and you already had a great relationship with them already, it's just going to make that relationship even better. So I'm a big fan of Robert Saleh and what he's got to bring. I do like what John Lynch had to say. So let's go. Saleh had a good defense of the Jets. They fell off a cliff when he was fired. They did. They really honestly did. Jeff Ulbrich was not. I just wanted to like Jeff Ulbrich. I didn't trust Jeff Ulbrich. The players didn't respect Jeff Ulbrich. I didn't want to sign him. I really wanted Robert Saleh above all, and we didn't get him. So there you go. It's good. All right. What is the next one? This is the last 49ers news subject that we're going to jump into here, and then we'll jump into the NFL Combine stuff, the fun stuff. Woo! All right, we'll get into that. All right. This is about Christian Mother effing McCaffrey. John Lynch shares positive CMC injury update for the 2025 season. All right. Jennifer Lee Chan once again says he's doing great. Christian's doing really well, and I think was really frustrated the way the last season went. Like, he's frustrated at a wall, I'll tell you that much. And doing everything possible as he did in preparation for last year, and we're hoping CMC is out there. Going to have a tremendous year if he's healthy, and he will have a tremendous year That's just what he does. I don't doubt Christian McCaffrey's ability to give it his all. I don't doubt Christian McCaffrey going to go out there and prove to himself and everybody else that, hey, don't forget about me, because he has been forgotten since his injury. A lot of people have been throwing him to the side, saying, oh, he's no longer a top 10 running back. He's too injury prone. And it's like he just came off Offensive Player of the Year and then had this injury. Let him prove it first before you say something crazy like that. Just to throw him to the side, I would be kind of upset too if I was Christian, because he's been disrespected since his injury. They're like, oh, see, Kyle's running into the ground. He's done. He's finished. So let's see what CMC does. If CMC comes back, and let's just talk about this reality real quick. If CMC comes back and he's not the same, a lot of people, and I mean a lot of people, are going to point at Kyle. They're going to point at him and say, look what you did. You damaged CMC. I promise you. CMC needs to come back and perform really well to not only save his legacy from here on out. He still is going to go down as a really great running back, right? But like I said, he's been cast aside right now. A lot of people are throwing him to the side, doubting him right now. That not only is he fighting for his legacy, he's fighting for Kyle Shanahan's legacy. Because like I said, if CMC is broken down, it's going to be added to Kyle's legacy that he ruined CMC, that he destroyed CMC. That's exactly what's going to be attached to Kyle Shanahan's name, especially, and I know they're kind of not related too much, but especially if he doesn't win a Super Bowl. If Kyle doesn't win a Super Bowl, it's going to be like, yeah, Kyle can never win the big one. Because I think playoff games are big ones, by the way. But he cannot win the big one. And not only can he not win the big one, he destroyed CMC. People are going to say that about Kyle Shanahan. So CMC coming back is going to have to do a lot. He's gonna if he does really well, he's gonna prove not only haters wrong about him, but about Kyle as well. So there's a lot of nuance there, but just look for that, guys. If CMC has a bad season, I promise you, it's going to be written all over the stars, all of our articles. Kyle Shanahan ruined CMC. And there's kind of, and I usually defend Kyle sometimes and stuff like that, but if CMC doesn't come back, I almost would be on that train. I would almost be with that as well, because he did kind of run him to the ground. He used him a lot more than he should have, especially coming back from his injury. That's kind of what sealed it for me. What sealed it for me was, all right, when they used him a lot in 2023 to go to the Super Bowl, I didn't mind it. I really honestly did not. I was like, okay, he's our best option. He's our hottest running back. Kyle even said himself, we're using the hot guy. Pause. But that's what they're doing with CMC. But this previous year, Jordan Mason was the hot hand, right? Isaac Guerrero was. But he decided to force feed the CMC issue and kind of defied that philosophy. And it's like, wait a minute, you said you do this, but you ended up doing that instead. So I'm on that train. I'm on that train of, if CMC comes back and he's not even remotely the same, like he's bad, if he's great still, fine. If he's not exactly the same, but he's still good, I won't hold against Kyle. He's 29 years old, CMC is. So I'm not going to hold too much to it. But if he's bad, looks super slow, looks broken down, I'm going to join that train. I would probably jump on that train. And I'm usually reserved when it comes to that kind of criticism. But yeah, so that's CMC and his situation. Let's get to some of the comments about that. Sala, as long as CMC gets more than 1,000 rushing yards, hopefully 1,200. Yeah, I think he still do that. I think he's still going to be a great back. I don't think he's going to be the same, but I still think he's going to be great. I don't think he's going to be the same. I still think he's going to be great. Yeah, a lot of people are saying that CMC is washed up. And it's weird to say washed up when he had injury problems in 1 year, but he had an Offensive Player of the Year the year before that. I would agree washed up if he comes back this year and is actually washed up. So Jake in the house. Good to see you. Yo. Jake in the house. They're showing some love. What did you miss? Just some 49ers news, man. We talked about Jake Moody, Kyle Juszczyk, Robert Saleh, the salary cap increase. Next up, there's one thing. Oh, then next, before we get into the combine stuff, the fun stuff that people really like, Brock Purdy with the no guarantee comment by John Lynch. CG Ruthless in the house. Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Yo. Jumping into the Brock Purdy no guarantee comment, I didn't take it as there's no guarantee, man. So let's just doubt the whole situation. And, there's a possibility we're going to trade him and, he's not going to be on the team. I didn't take it like that. I took it as like pretty much any other situation where, no contract is a guarantee. I took it as a passerby comment. I took it as just something that he's saying. I didn't think there was actually any depth to it. I just thought it was him saying there's no guarantee, just like in any contract that you do, there's no guarantees. Because I feel like if he were to say it's a guarantee we sign him, that would be kind of a big deal too. But I also think he shouldn't have said that either, because he just said that we all know. Like, we already know that everything's not a guarantee. It's something he shouldn't have said, but I also took it as a passerby comment. I didn't take it that way at all. There is another way you could take it and you could look at it, that comment. It could have been because we all know that John Lynch doesn't talk to Brock Purdy, talks to the agent. We know that news gets out to Brock Purdy. I'm sure in the news, whatever, he's going to end up seeing it, right? Especially about his contract. I'm sure he'll end up seeing it. He's going to see people talking about, he said there's no guarantee. Maybe he's trying to signal to put pressure on Brock Purdy, to his agent. Maybe that's a possibility. That's just me turning the wheels, right? That's just me trying to think of like maybe another thing he said, because I still think it's something he shouldn't have said. But I personally took it as a simple word salad, passerby comments that him talking about, the contract situation. Because after that, when he says there's no guarantees, he started talking about how much he loves Brock Purdy, how much he wants Brock Purdy, how much he expects Brock Purdy to be here as long as he's there and Kyle's there. Kyle's have said the same thing. The owner has expressed how much he wants to keep him long-term. If there was no real optimism, if there was no real possibility, and there's no real guarantee that he will get signed, if you know what I mean, those things would not have been said, right? Jed York would not have met with the ownership. Would have met with the agent, right? He now would have done that. So that's kind of why I take that as a passerby comment, just because the signs are reaching more towards it being a reality than this one simple comment that he said at a press conference, meaning this entire thing, right? So, I said it 1,000 times, and I'll say it just one more time. It's just a passerby comment. That's how I took it. It was sarcastic. Yeah, it just wasn't real. It wasn't like a real, it didn't carry any weight. It was just something he said, because sometimes you say things in word salad you don't really mean or whatever, and it's just kind of something you say out loud. Even though I think he should have said it though. When Lewis said that, I thought it was either a slip up or he was being extremely cautious and conservative, not wanting to spend that much money after paying Debo, Bosa, etc. I don't think that. I think it was just like, you can't say it's a guarantee, right? And I don't know if it's like saying I'm not wanting to spend that much money, because that's the reality of it, is that you're going to spend that much money. But I just think I do agree it could have been like a slip up thing where he just kind of meant as word salad. And in word salad, you're not usually thinking about that kind of stuff. But I don't think it has anything to do with spending that much money. I don't think it has anything to do with that. Going to blame Purdy and Charlie for the different interpretations of that comment? Possibly, Jake. Possibly. When are we going to do the trivia versus 49ers meetup? It is not going to happen because people can cheat. That was just an idea we thought of like within 5 minutes of doing like a trivia thing, but we decided not to do it just because the comments would just cheat, and people would just tell us the answers and things like that. So it would take away from the trivia if we were to do that. So we're not doing any trivia. I'd like to do one, but if we did it, it would have to be like a recorded session and then we post a video on it. It wouldn't be able to be live just because the comments would reveal the answers. Lynch also accidentally called Moody Brock, and I think he just says some dumb things sometimes and slip ups. I agree. Like, he's not perfect, and I think he just I don't take everything he says to heart. What I usually take to heart is things that he repeats or what someone repeats. If someone reiterates something, then they probably mean it, right? If they say it twice or 3 times, they probably mean that in particular. Like, sometimes I will talk, right, and I'll say something I don't mean. As you guys know, I'll say a wrong name. I will mention someone wrong, or I'll say a player's bad when I meant like a player's good. It's just like, am I reiterating what I'm saying is the thing. And I don't think he reiterated it. Again, I just think it was just a simple passerby comment. But I tell you what, I am super glad that you guys feel this way, and that I have seen a few other 49ers fans as well and some content creators not taking it that way, because it's very easy to take that one simple, no guarantee that we get it done comment and turning it into a whole thing. It's very easy to do it. It's practically on a silver platter to be like, I need you to overreact to this. It's very easy. So I'm happy that the 49ers fan base is on board with the reality of this. Like, hey, man, this was just a simple whatever comment. But yeah, I'm glad that we agree it wasn't something like that, especially considering the vibes, with about Brock Purdy. So, all right, so let's go ahead and jump into the combine stuff. That is all the 49ers stuff. That is all the 49ers news that's happened that I can think of. We talked about the salary cap, Jake Moody. The 49ers are looking for a top potential D lineman. We looked at those guys. Kyle Juszczyk getting cut. That is something I'm all for. Brock Purdy's comment. Now let's go ahead and jump into the combine. The combine. Come on. Shut the fuck up and get to the combine. All right. Let's go. Pa! All right. Here is the combine numbers here for you guys here. So you guys take a look at that. I don't take the I've already expressed this earlier in the live. I don't take 40-yard dashes too seriously when it comes to D linemen. I really honestly don't. It can be a good thing, but I wouldn't be like, just because James Pierce Jr. is 4.47, I expected him to be fast. All right. I already expected that to happen. I saw his 40 speed. It was like a 4.6 or something like that pre-combine. So this is actually a pretty good number for him, getting higher. But with the 4.6 speed, I already knew he was relatively fast, especially seeing how fast he was off the line, getting around defenders, kind of like his bread and butter is getting around the linemen that don't know where to set themselves. So I already knew that he was going to be relatively fast. There are some few guys in here that I have not heard of that I'm sure have gotten higher in draft boards, because when it comes to the draft, hype is everything. Hype can turn you into a 4th-round pick to a 2nd-round pick like that, right? So for these guys, I may not take the 40-yard dash seriously, but I know there's GMs out there that are taking this 40 seriously, and they actually add it to their evaluation. So we got Colin Oliver from Oklahoma State. I have not heard of him. I'm jumping James Pierce Jr. He is
kick him out of the weight room at Georgia.
I don't need to see that. Okay. He is 6'2", 30 and a half. Oh, that's kind of short arms. Damn. That dude's got some short ass arms. 240 pounds. That dude is light. He's got a 69 average grade. Nice. 69. And he's a senior. He's probably going to be undrafted. I mean, I don't even know. I don't know who this guy is, so it's just me making the assumption here, right? But he's got a 69 production score. Nice. And a total score of 69. Nice. With an 80 athleticism test, which is ranked 4th among all DNs. James Pierce Jr. Let's go look at James Pierce Jr. next, just so we can get an idea of how he was.
That's what I'm saying.
He is 6'5", 245. I think he's going to end up being a lot heavier in the league. I think he's going to get more weight, because that's kind of something he needs to do. And I think it'd be phenomenal. 32 and 3/4 inch arms, pretty good. 10-inch hands, 6.4 grade. Will become a good start within 2 years. Prospect grade with an 80 good production score, 74 athleticism, which was 16th in the league, with an 80 total score. That's kind of interesting that he got 16th. That's actually interesting. Anyway, a 1.56 10-yard split, a 31-inch vertical jump, and a 10-3 broad jump. That's actually not that big. It's actually not that great. It's really not that great. So, but like I said, though, the 40 speed, though, a lot of people are going to look at that and be like, oh my God, we need to draft him now. So, yeah, I guess that's James Pierce Jr. there. A little disappointed on him being ranked that far down. So, Jason taller than Bosa, but he's like 20 pounds skinnier, and he will have to put on some weight on. I agree. I think he will have to be he will have to put on about like 20, 15 pounds. 260 would be good. 6'5", something like that. I agree. Yeah, it's just Rich Eisen talking. I just hit the pause button there. What else we got? All right. Fidal Diggs from Syracuse. What's he like? 6'4", 257.
And he has just taken off and developed each and every year.
6'4", 207. That's not bad. Okay, that's pretty good size. It's pretty good size for a D lineman. It's got a typical size there. A 65 production score, 66 total score, and the 9th ranked athleticism. He had a 4.57 40-yard dash, 1.6 10-yard split with a 30.5 vertical jump and a 10. So he's like, it's okay. It's okay. Now, this one we're going to look at right now, which is Shamir Stewart. I have heard about Shamir Stewart and his athleticism. I understand that Shamir Stewart is super athletic.
Imagine being on a vacation for a very long time.
Oh my God, no. Don't automatically play videos. Imagine you're on a vacation somewhere far away that costs you $60 million. All right. Anyway, so Shamir Stewart is 6'5", 267, 34-inch arms. It's kind of bit of tiny hands there. He's got a 26th ranked production score with a 3rd athleticism at 84, a 77 score. Look, I understand this man's athletic, right? And at 6'5", he is a massive man. And he's super, super athletic. But I don't like Shamir Stewart. I'm sure you guys, people have been around long enough to know, I do not like this man. I do not trust this guy. I've watched him play. I've looked at his stats, right? I've done some research. I do not understand the hype for this man. He's good in the run game. Awesome. But that's it. He doesn't do anything fantastic. He's not even fantastic in the run game. I do not understand the obsession with Shamir Stewart. He's super athletic, especially for his size. Great. You could be athletic all you want, right? But how you apply yourself matters, and I don't see it when it comes to this guy. I am this guy's biggest hater. I hate the way that you dress. I hate the way that you talk. I hate the way that you walk. If I catch flight, we're going to sneak whatever that little thing is from Kendrick Lamar, straight up. Straight up, all right? I hate the way that you sneak this. If you catch flight, it's going to be direct. Type hate, okay? That's how I feel about Shamir Stewart, man. Leonard Floyd lists at 6'3", 280 pounds and was getting tossed around a bit and pushed off the edge. Yeah, he's kind of a rare breed, right? Like Leonard Floyd he's a good pass rusher and stuff, and he's done well for himself in the league. But his size and what he's been doing in his time is rare. It's not like very common for him to do what he has done in the league at that size. So it's props to him, but it's rare for a reason. It's rare for a reason. Shamir Stewart had a really good day at the combine. Yeah, I've already had a fantastic day. I think like next gen grades or something like that gave him like a 99.9 grade or something like that, which was like a combine record of some kind. But I don't care. I don't think he's that good. Like, I don't think he's going to do – he had a 40 vertical jump, which is phenomenal, 10-11 broad jump, which is phenomenal, a 1.58 10-yard split at his size, 4.59 40-yard dash at his size, fantastic. But he doesn't know how to apply himself. He is a project. He is a project. He could be good 2 years from now, but this man is being hyped up as a first-round draft pick. And I shouldn't even take offense to it. I really honestly shouldn't. Because the 49ers haven't done an interview with this guy. They haven't done any kind of like research. He's been mocked one time like a month ago. I do not get it. Drives me nuts. I'm offended. Milwaukee in the house. Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Good to see you. Terradome in the house. Forgot to give you a shout out. If you guys like some NFL draft stuff, you guys like my NFL draft stuff, check out Terradome. Terradome knows his stuff, man. I got some of my information from him. So check him out. Pause. See what he can give you. He's going to lay down the line for you, some information. All right. Where is there was a guy that someone said that I wanted to look up to, Nick Scorton. I don't think Nick Scorton ran today. I think he was out of the I think Nick Scorton, Walter Nolan, Abdul Carter all did not perform in the combine. I know that. So they did not do anything in the combine. Who else? Jay Joyner from Minnesota, not the biggest fan. Tyler Bourne from Miami. Jordan Birch. Oh my, what's up, Jordan Birch?
How do you make an Airbnb a verbo?
I don't know. You tell me. Bitch. Okay, so 6'4", 33-inch arms, 9.5-inch hands. Not very good, but he's got some tweener size to him. He will eventually be an average starter according to his grade here. A 70 production, 75 athleticism, and 73 total score. He didn't do the vertical jump, didn't do the broad jump, but he kind of had a terrible 10-yard split. That's not a very good 10-yard split, my man. That's not very good. Not very good. Next up,
guys,
we got
change in the air.
Two changes.
So tired of these ads. God damn. All right. This guy, I have not, believe it or not, I have done some prospect research. I've watched a lot of film and stuff, but I don't know what it's about this guy, but for some reason, I do not even care to look this guy up. I seriously do, because I know there's a lot of people that actually like Landon Jackson, but there's just something about him, man, that just makes me not even want to bother to take a look at him. And that's such a stupid thing to judge someone by. But, I mean, he's got good size, 6'6", 264. That's good weight. He's got great arms, great hands, good stats there. He has a 4.68 40-yard dash for his size. That's really good. 10-yard split's all right, decent, but that vertical jump and broad jump's fantastic. He's got good athleticism, so maybe I should take a look at his film and see what he can do, but I can't judge this guy, and I know a lot of people do like him and what he can bring. So I do have to do my research on this guy at some point, but I don't know. There's just something about him that just screams boring. That just screams, I'm not going to be impressed when I do my job, when I do my work of checking out this guy. I think Terradome probably should just give me a lowdown on that, and I'll just take his word for it. Brandon Graham to the 49ers? No. He's retired, man. He's retired. Shamar has the build like Tarzan, play like Jane thing going. That's awesome, Terradome. That's awesome. That's freaking hilarious. Play like he's got a Tarzan, play like Jane thing going. I love it. That's fantastic. It is 5:32 right now on the West Coast for me. All right. This guy, here, his dad has come into my live a couple of times, asked me if I checked him out, looked at his film, and I have. I like him. I actually think he's good. Do I think he's like phenomenal or whatever? But no, I do like his potential. I know that people in Texas actually really do love him. Based on the research I did, he was considered a star on that line. highly respected in Texas. A lot of people love him. When I watched his film, I wasn't blown away by it, but I liked it. I thought he was good. He's definitely someone I would take in. I value him as a 4th round, late 3rd round type pick kind of guy. I think he's got good. I think he actually uses moves here and there. I think he's a tad bit slow, but I do agree. I do like the fact that you see the effort, right? You see the he's ferocious, right? When I watch him play, I stop and I look at the entire line. He shows the most effort on that line. When I watch that Texas line there, I'm constantly seeing Barron Sorrell constantly trying to get the quarterback, constantly trying to make a play. He does not give up on the play. And that's what I love about a player like that. So Barron Sorrell, I mean, actually, I'm not trying to knock him here or his dad or anything like that. But when someone like that came in my live asking me about that, I was kind of like, oh, he's probably like a 7th round pick kind of type dude. That's going to be like nothing. I watched him play. I'm like, oh, this guy is actually going to be like a 4th round pick. This guy's actually not bad. I actually like this dude. So I'm probably going to keep track of him, keep my eyes on him a little bit because I liked his passion. I liked his fire. I like what he do. He's just a tad bit, even though he's got a lot of fire to him, he's kind of got like this average speed. He doesn't have intense burst or anything like that, but you can tell he's trying. He's putting in the effort. And I do like about that. He is 6'3", 32-inch arms, 256, 9.5. He's got the size. It's 6'3", 256. That's a good size for an edge rusher there at that size of 6'3". His 40 was his 4.68, a 1.65 10-yard split, which is okay. Vertical jump was 34 inches, was not bad. Broad jumps 10-1. 3-cone was 7.06, which is not bad. Actually, that's actually pretty good. And his 20-yard shuttle was a 4.36. So I don't think he did that bad. I think he's about a late 3rd rounder, 4th round pick kind of type pass rusher. But I love his motor. I absolutely love this dude's motor and what he can bring to that team. If we were to draft him in the 4th round, probably like a 4th round pick kind of type guy. I saw Graham's in the draft. Oh, okay, let's take a look at him real quick. I forgot Landon Jackson existed. Was he again? He's a D end. 6'6", a massive guy. He's a massive human being. So he's pretty athletic, but I haven't seen his play yet on the field, so I don't know if he's actually any good. So I saw a mock draft with the Bucks picking Tatora McMillan. Great job. That'd be fantastic for them. Jeez, that'd be a steal. I think someone had him falling like all the way to the 20th pick or 21st pick or something like that. That's not happening. McMillan is going to be a top 10. The very furthest he'll drop is to the 15th pick. I'm so confident in that. There's no way. There's absolutely no way. It's smoke season, folks. Don't fall in love with the Under Armour Combine Olympics. Go back with your film and highlights. Derek Dome's got jokes. I agree, man. Like, that's another thing with like Combine. I don't take Combine to heart. I know we're looking at Combine stats, but this is just kind of like for fun when you get an idea of how athletic somebody is. Combine is way more for wide receivers. It's way more for corners, right? It's more for the like secondary players, running backs. As for like D linemen and offensive linemen, I don't particularly care, right? I don't really take it to heart too much when it comes to the Combine. And I do agree, like the Combine creates smoke, creates a lot of hype, causes players to fall just because of their athleticism. When in reality, that on film, you should trust your film study more than what they do at a Combine. You should trust what you see with your eyes on the field, because you and I both know, everyone should know this anyway, at least, that there's a difference between shirt and short speed, Combine speed, and field speed, right? What you do on the football field speed. What your athleticism on the football field is completely different. So I do agree that whatever assessment you really had before the Combine should be the one you rely on the most. So don't let certain players get too much in your head based on what they do. But I think the only time that you should really kind of think about it a little bit, like they should get higher, is if like a wide receiver runs like a 4.2 or a high 4.3, or if a running back runs like a really low 4.3 but a high 4.2. That's kind of like the only time I feel like you should kind of influence it a little bit, because you kind of want that speed. But when it comes to D-end, offensive lineman, tight end or whatever, it's not that big of a deal. It's really not. Jake, the Niners are picking number 11. What team? Is it the Bucks? I think picks are like 21 or something like that. Well, we can also say that, say for y'all, QB and wide receiver, not an issue. You said DB. Any good DBs to be available at 17? Depends on what DB you want. There's a few of them. Honestly, for the Bengals, I would probably go edge rusher the most. Honestly, because edge rusher is more important than a corner, I believe. But I mean, Morrison's not a bad option. I know a lot of people like Shakir Ravel. I'm not a fan of him. I really don't understand the love for Ravel, to be honest with you. But a lot of people like him. If you like him, that's fine. But I'm not the biggest fan. Morrison out of I think it's Notre Dame, I think it is. He's pretty good. He's a pretty good corner. But there's a few late round picks that I like more. I've been looking at late round corners like Mello Dotson from Kansas. I like Mello Dotson a lot more than Kobe Bryant, but Kobe Bryant's also a good corner from Kansas as well. Dorian Strong from Virginia Tech. I like him a lot. One of my favorites in the draft is Dorian Strong from Virginia Tech. But as for the top corners, the only one I could think of is Ravel, Morrison, and Will Johnson. But Will Johnson's not falling to 17. All right. He's not. There's no way he's falling to that. That'd be crazy. That would be crazy. I'd be looking at good corner, edge, best player available to build up your defense. Yeah, I agree. That's what they need the most. They need defensive players. I would go edge if I was the Bengals, though. I would try to get someone like Mike Green if he falls there, Nick Scorton if he falls there. Some good options there. James Pierce Jr. might fall there. I know people like him a lot. You can get Jack Sawyer probably the second round. I like Princely a lot, but I think Princely's like he's my second favorite pass rusher in this draft. I don't think he's getting enough love, but there's going to be a few pass rushers at 17 for the Bengals to choose from. That would be good for them. And I think they should go pass rush for sure. I don't watch much college. You don't have to watch much college. I don't watch much college either. There's plenty of film you can find on the internet. There's plenty of research you can do on the internet to find everything that you need to know about a player, like down to a T. There's so much information on Google to break down players and really what they can do. It just takes a lot of research to get to know 250 something players. It just takes a lot of research and a lot of time and a lot of commitment. So it's best to get I didn't start doing research on players until I want to say early January is when I started. And I feel like I'm behind. I feel like I still don't know enough players. And I probably know 60. That's not enough. There's 250, and I have to know 60. I only know 60 of them. All right. Baron Sorrell, like I said, I like him. Late third, early fourth round pick. I do like him. Not the most athletic guy in the world, but you could see he's got a passion for football. You could see the passion you can see the passion there. Who else is fast? David Walker, Central Arkansas. He's supposed to be like a fourth rounder, fifth round pick kind of type guy. Princely, this is my guy right here. This is my guy right here. All right. My second favorite pass rusher in this draft. Doesn't get enough love. Okay. 6'4", 33 and 7/8 inch arms. 9 5/8 hands, 244 weight, a little bit light, whatever. He can gain about 10 more pounds and he'll be fine. That's something you can easily do. He's got look at that. He's got an athleticism score of 69. Nice. Doesn't get any better than that. He's got a production score of 80, which is 7th in the league, with a total score of 75th, 12th in the league. Now, he's got a 38 vertical jump, which is not bad. 10-6 jump there. 7.33 cone drill, not the best. Not the best 20-yard shuttle either. He didn't do very well at the combine for someone that I've really been touting. But on the field, man, he just looks so good. He just looks so phenomenal. Like I know that obviously, like I said, don't go by the combine here, but I'm telling you right now, those mid-ass combine stats he just had there does not speak to how good he actually is on the field. I'm telling you. I think I think it's everyone I really actually know. But yeah, so those are the DNs, D tackles. We got Ty Robinson from Nebraska. I gotta check this guy out. Maybe take a look at him. 6'5", 32 and 1/4 inch arms, 288 pounds. So he's a tweener. Well, I guess he's a D tackle. So, and he's got green across the board and score breakdown: 43, a 171 4-yard split, 33.5 vertical jump. I mean, he's a D tackle, so I won't hold it to him, but too much. But I don't think that's that good. That's all right. That's okay. It's decent. He's fast, but everything else he's kind of decent at. Is there anyone else? Derek Harmon. Derek Harmon got a 6'4" and a half, 34 and 3/8. That's some big ass arms, dude. This dude's got some big king arms, man. Big hands too. Derek Harmon, dude. Big fan of Derek Harmon, guys. He's my. I like him more than Walter Nolan. Shoot me, man. But if you're taking a D tackle, like if you want a true D tackle, he's a true D tackle. All right, he's your guy. 4.995 4-yard dash with a 10-yard split of 1.74, which is pretty good for his size. He didn't do anything else in the drills though, but man, he's that guy a monster, dude. So good, so good. CJ West is 6'1". This guy's tiny. This guy's going to go undrafted. I'm telling you. This guy's an undrafted player. The 49ers worked him out, though. The 49ers interviewed CJ West, so he might go undrafted because no one drafts a 6'1", all right, decent D tackle. I don't think he's going to get drafted. He'll probably be like a 6th, 7th round pick or something like that. But I know the 49ers interviewed CJ West here. Is there anybody else? Joshua Farmer, baby. This guy is phenomenal, dude. This guy may not run fast, okay, but I'm telling you right now, on the field, he's a monster, all right? He's got high potential. I've seen this dude beat double teams multiple times. There'll be double teams on this 6'3", 305-pound man, and he would beat them. Pause. 35-inch arms, massive arms, man. He's got a good wingspan. This guy is going to be a late 3rd, 4th round draft pick here. The 49ers could draft a D tackle and sign a D tackle in free agency. And if they use a 4th round pick on him, I wouldn't hate it. Would not hate it. This guy has huge upside. I'm a big fan of Joshua Farmer, dude. He's got a lot of talent. He's someone I'm definitely going to look at in the draft, and hopefully we can get him later on because he's not really a 2nd round pick, and he didn't do himself favors he didn't do himself favors at the combine here, obviously, because he didn't really do a very good job at the combine, so his stock probably didn't go any higher, and he was already a late 3rd, early 4th round pick. So if we get Joshua Farmer, I would be satisfied. He plays inside and outside. He beats double teams, man. He's got a bag. I almost wonder, why is he so far down in draft boards? Sometimes you'll see a prospect, you'll think to yourself, oh, this guy is probably like a 2nd rounder. And then you go do your research, and you're like, wow, people are thinking this guy's like a 3rd, 4th rounder. I wonder why. Right? There wasn't a lot of talent on that D line, and he was phenomenal. Joshua Farmer's great. I think he's going, wherever team picks him, I'm going to keep an eye on him because I got a feeling he's going to be really good in this draft. So, all right. That is the combine scores we saw there. Those are all the D tackles I know. Peebles, I think I kind of know him a little bit, but I think all the D tackles I looked at, like, I don't see Amon Lott here. I don't see Alex, the guy from Texas. I can't think of his name. He's not on here. TJ Sanders is not on here. Talik Williams is not on here either. So are they in like a 10-year split? No. So those kind of D tackles are not on this list. So yeah, but like my top 7 D tackles are not on here. There's like only 3 or 4 of them. So that's kind of crazy. But hey, I don't watch SUV either, but I can't get into it. Too many conferences, too many teams, and their playoff system sucks. There is a lot of teams, dude. There is a lot of teams. I agree. I also don't know why, but I'm not into that Walter Nolan, even though he's good. Probably his name, to be honest, sounds nerdy. Yeah, you see, if you use both your arms and then you swipe him, you can totally get to the quarterback. You know what I'm saying? Type guy. I don't know. I think he's just really hyped, man. When I watch him play, I don't think he's okay. I keep expressing this just so that it doesn't get lost. Okay. I'm not saying he's bad. Okay. I'm gonna say that there's like 4 or 5 D tackles in this draft that I think are good, but you have to rank them. And if I were to rank Nolan, I would probably put him 3rd or 4th, maybe even 4th on the list. A lot of people have him as number 2. A lot of people do. And there's a lot of hype of him being great and fantastic. But when I watch him play, man, I'm just not – I don't get that – he doesn't hit my Giddy meter, right? And I've talked about it a couple times in my lives. He doesn't hit my Giddy meter. When I watch him play, I don't go, oh, wow, that was crazy. Like once or twice, I'm like, oh, that was nice. Oh, that'd be nice. But when I watch Derek Harmon, I'm like, oh, that was good, dude. Or Talik Williams or TJ Sanders, I get really excited. But for Walter Nolan, like he's good, but for some reason, I'm just like, he's good. He's good. You know, I'm not super impressed. And I know that's such a minority thing to say, or a lot of people are like, wow, that's crazy. You think Walter Nolan's not that good? I still think he's good. I just don't think he's number 2 good. I don't think he's number 3 good D tackle. I do think he's still like 4 or 5, somewhere around there. Not worth the 11th pick, in my opinion. Would I be upset if we drafted Walter Nolan at the 11th pick? No, because we do need a defensive tackle. He would start technically for the team. Like I said, there's 4 or 5 D tackles in this draft who would start day 1, who should make an impact day 1. But if you're talking about me grading them from 1 to 5 and who I think will be better in the end, he's like 4. Okay, so he would still contribute. So I wouldn't be too upset, but I just think there'd be better options. And you might as well trade back and get those better options like TJ Sanders or Talik Williams from Ohio State. Derek Harmon for Oregon be phenomenal. So it's just that Walter Nolan, you can see, it's kind of like how I talk about Baron Sorrell. He has that motor. Walter Nolan has an incredible motor. He does not give up. He has fight in him. And if he can really turn it up a notch with that fight, with that fire, with his ability of already being a good D tackle, he could truly be the second best, if not the best D tackle in this draft. He has an ability to be that guy. He truly does. But I just don't think he's going to be that in the end. I just don't. And I'm not interested in taking a 1 to 2 year project to get better down the line at 11. I want a guy who's going to make an impact right away and be super impressive right away at 11. And I think Walter Nolan needs about a year or 2 to really hit those heights. And we're in our Super Bowl window. We can't afford things like that. And it's not worth having that kind of situation. It's kind of like I almost feel about James Pierce Jr. Difference is Nolan's polished more. James Pierce Jr. is just raw. So, all right, guys, that is everything. We talked about the NFL Combine. We looked at the Combine numbers. We talked about Kyle Juszczyk being cut. I'm all for it. Jake Moody, I understand why he's still going to be on the roster, but I doubt he'll be on the roster by the end of the 90-man cuts. That'd be shocking to me. We talked about the salary cap increase going from $255.4 million to $279.2 million, which is a $23.8 million cap increase, which is 9.14% increase in the cap. Then we talked about Brock Purdy and the no guarantee comment. We all agree it was just a passerby comment. It doesn't really mean anything. Talk about Robert Saleh. We really got in the nitty gritty, man. Talk about the draft and stuff. And yeah, I think this is a good guy, man. I appreciate it. 10 people in here. Be sure to like the live, guys. I really appreciate it. All right. So I'm bouncing. Thank you, Juan, for being part of this live. You're awesome. Appreciate your conversation, man. Appreciate your commentary. As always, dude, always wanting you to show up, OG style. Jake, appreciate you coming in here too. Massive. You want to know what else is massive? Low taper fade. All right. Terror Dome. Terror Dome is awesome. We still need to do a live. I keep forgetting to look at my Instagram. I never look at that thing ever. My Instagram is your Discord, Terror Dome. That's kind of like why it's hard for us to kind of like work something out. It's just, there's just that. But appreciate you coming in, man. Appreciate your commentary as always. Milwaukee, thank you for coming in here too. Appreciate it. I'll check out Brandon Graham in the draft. I'll check him out, see if he's any good. I didn't see him on the list anywhere, so I couldn't see his athleticism in there. Val, of course, OG. Appreciate you coming up in the house, showing up. CJ Ruthless. Appreciate you coming up in here. Salvador, as always, appreciate you popping in and saying hi. Let us know that you're alive, man. Very important. I appreciate it. OG as well. Niners for life always shows up. Well, I guess she kind of took a break a little bit, but he took a break a little bit. I don't know why I said she, but person took a little break, but came back. And then, yeah, so that is everyone. Thank you so much for being part of this live. Like I always say, man, these lives are – I have a blast. I have a great time. I always expect these lives to last like 30 minutes, to be honest with you. But you guys come up in here. You guys make it a good time. You guys make this conversation what it is. And I couldn't be more thankful that you guys like make this dream of becoming a 49ers content creator what it is, man. Really, I'm blown away by how awesome this is. And this experience has been trying to grow and become a true 49ers content creator. Like it's been a blast. And it's because of you guys. So thank you guys so much. To everyone who watched this later, sub if you haven't subbed already. That way you can be part of the Wolf Den, part of the conversation. Because at the end of the day, all this is just a conversation, right? And be sure to like the live, because every single like makes my 49ers heart grow from here to here. All love, fam. I'll see you next video. Bang, bang, not a gang, baby. Not a gang.